The possible transfer of the former Italian aircraft carrier Giuseppe Garibaldi from the Mediterranean to Southeast Asia marks a dramatic new chapter in global naval realignment, as Indonesia moves closer to integrating a true fixed-wing capable aviation platform into its expanding maritime force structure. Once the pride of the Italian Navy, the vessel that symbolized Rome's post-Cold War naval ambitions may soon sail under the flag of the Indonesian Navy, potentially entering service by October 2026. If finalized, the transfer would represent one of the most significant defense acquisitions in Indonesia's modern naval history, signaling Jakarta's determination to secure its vast maritime domain stretching from the Indian Ocean to the Pacific. Commissioned in 1985, Giuseppe Garibaldi was Italy's first aircraft carrier and served for decades as the flagship of the Italian fleet. Designed during the Cold War era, the ship embodied NATO's southern maritime defense posture, capable of operating vertical/short takeoff and landing V/OL aircraft such as the AV-8B Harrier. Measuring approximately 180 meters in length and displacing over 13,000 tons at full load, the carrier combined compact size with versatile operational capability. Over the years, it participated in numerous multinational missions, including operations in the Adriatic Sea during the Balkan conflicts, humanitarian deployments, and security missions in the Mediterranean. For Italy, Giuseppe Garibaldi was more than a warship. It was a statement of strategic autonomy and expeditionary reach. However, naval modernization eventually led to its retirement. Italy commissioned the larger and more capable aircraft carrier Italian aircraft carrier Cavour in 2008, gradually shifting frontline aviation responsibilities to the newer platform. With the introduction of fifth-generation F-35B stealth fighters into the Italian fleet, Cavour became the centerpiece of Italy's naval aviation strategy, leaving Giuseppe Garibaldi increasingly redundant. Decommissioned after nearly 4 decades of service, the vessel remained structurally sound, prompting discussions about potential resale or repurposing. For Indonesia, the opportunity to acquire such a vessel aligns with its long-term maritime doctrine centered around the concept of the global maritime fulcrum. President Joko Widodo's administration emphasized Indonesia's identity as the world's largest archipelagic state, spanning more than 17,000 islands and commanding critical sea lanes like the Strait of Malacca and the Lombok Strait. Securing these maritime corridors has become an urgent priority amid rising geopolitical competition in the Indo-Pacific. By potentially integrating Giuseppe Garibaldi into its fleet, Indonesia would take a major step toward transforming its navy from a primarily coastal defense force into a blue-water maritime power. Indonesia's naval modernization has accelerated in recent years. The country has expanded its submarine fleet, invested in new frigates, and pursued advanced fighter aircraft acquisitions. Yet, despite these upgrades, Indonesia has never operated a full-fledged aircraft carrier. The introduction of Giuseppe Garibaldi would dramatically alter its naval profile, enabling the projection of air power across distant maritime zones. The ship could serve multiple roles: maritime security patrols, disaster relief operations, amphibious support, and regional deterrence missions. In a region frequently struck by natural disasters such as tsunamis and earthquakes, the carrier's aviation facilities could also be invaluable for humanitarian response. Strategically, the move comes at a time when Southeast Asia is witnessing increased naval activity. China's expanding presence in the South China Sea, combined with intensified U.S. naval patrols and regional military modernization, has reshaped security calculations. While Indonesia is not a formal claimant in the main South China Sea disputes, it has faced maritime incursions near the Natuna Islands. A carrier capability would enhance Jakarta's ability to monitor and respond to potential threats far from its shores. Even if Giuseppe Garibaldi operates primarily as a helicopter carrier rather than deploying fixed-wing jets, its command and control facilities and aviation deck would significantly boost operational flexibility. Financial considerations also play a role. Purchasing a decommissioned carrier is far less expensive than constructing a new one from scratch. Building a modern aircraft carrier typically costs billions of dollars and requires years of industrial development. By contrast, acquiring Giuseppe Garibaldi allows Indonesia to leapfrog decades of shipbuilding experience at a fraction of the cost. However, modernization and refitting expenses could still be substantial. Systems upgrades, compatibility adjustments, crew training, and aviation integration would require careful planning to ensure seamless incorporation into Indonesian service. The logistical and training challenges should not be underestimated. Operating an aircraft carrier demands specialized doctrine, skilled personnel, and integrated air-wing management. Indonesian naval officers would likely undergo extensive training in Italy or through collaborative programs. Maintenance infrastructure must also be upgraded to support the ship's propulsion systems and aviation equipment. Nonetheless, Indonesia has shown a consistent commitment to absorbing advanced military technologies, often partnering with European defense industries for technology transfer and training assistance. From Italy's perspective, the potential sale reflects pragmatic defense diplomacy. Rather than scrapping a historically significant vessel, Rome can strengthen bilateral ties with Jakarta while supporting regional stability. Italy has increasingly expanded its defense exports in Asia, and transferring Giuseppe Garibaldi would reinforce its reputation as a reliable defense partner. Moreover, it demonstrates how European naval assets can find renewed purpose in emerging maritime powers seeking rapid capability enhancement. Beyond pure military considerations, symbolism matters. The sight of a former Mediterranean carrier operating in Southeast Asian waters underscores the interconnected nature of modern geopolitics. Naval platforms once designed for NATO missions could soon contribute to Indo-Pacific security architecture. This reflects the broader shift in global strategic focus from the Atlantic to the Indo-Pacific region. For Indonesia, hosting such a vessel represents not just an increase in firepower but also an elevation of international standing. Domestically, the acquisition would likely spark debate within Indonesia regarding defense spending priorities. Critics may question whether resources should focus on coastal patrol ships and submarines rather than a high-profile carrier. Supporters, however, argue that maritime air power provides unmatched versatility and deterrence. The Indonesian Navy has long aspired to strengthen its aviation capabilities, and Giuseppe Garibaldi offers a tangible path toward that ambition. Technically, adapting the carrier for Indonesian use may involve reconfiguring the flight deck for helicopter operations, potentially including anti-submarine warfare helicopters, transport helicopters, and maritime surveillance aircraft. If Indonesia eventually acquires V/STOL aircraft in the future, the platform could serve as a stepping stone toward full fixed-wing carrier aviation.